What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, my name is Addy, and in this video, I wanted to talk about a potential change that I'm making within the agency, transitioning my SMMA to an AI agency. Now, regardless of what the title says, there's a certain belief that I have related to this topic. I know a lot of people are talking about the AI agencies as if it's this entirely new business model, completely different from SMMA. And I know, once again, the title probably is leaning more towards that as well. But the reality is that it's pretty similar to an SMMA model. The core service, the core pillars of the business model are entirely the same. I heard this one guy talking about how SMMA is dead and AI agencies taking over. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, all of these without utilizing AI, you're going to fall behind. But at the end of the day, if you look at the core pillars, the core services, the core systems of the businesses, they're practically the same, right? Jumping into this right away, I have a bit of a board that I mapped out here. The core model of an agency is working with local businesses or e-commerce businesses as well, and offering some sort of paid acquisition model, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be paid ads. It can be SEO or any sort of service that's just bringing them more customers and more revenue, right? So you're working with local businesses for a majority of the part. That's what I've seen in this space consistently, whether it's gyms, roofers, med spas, interior design, home services, plumbing. The options are endless, right? You're offering them some sort of core service: Meta ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, Google reviews. Maybe you're working with them to implement some sort of service that will improve their systems, whatever it is. There's a long list with that as well. And then you're helping them with lead generation, lead conversion process. You're utilizing Go High Level to systemize their business. And also, once again, that's going to contribute to the lead conversion process. And the pricing model for this structure, a lot of people do the month to month. I am actually, well, I start off on a 3 month contract and then I go to month. That's what a lot of people do as well. And that can range from $5,000 to $10,000. Once again, it just depends on the amount of value you're providing and the type of results that you're getting. I've seen people charge $15,000 plus. So after that, it can drop down $1,200 to $1,500, right? The way I do it, the first 3 months are generally the highest fees. After that, it drops down a little bit, and then it goes into month to month for about $1,400. Now, a few issues that I've seen related to this model and things that have been slowing me down and holding me back, and just generally people in this space, it's related to ads and creatives, internal systems, and service delivery. I think those are the three main things. Whenever I see people talking about AI agencies, it's mostly around solving these three different things. Starting off with ads and creatives, if you're just creating ads for your clients and also internally, well, if you're running paid ads, you're creating ads internally. That's what I meant. But if you're utilizing, ads and creatives and you're creating them internally and for clients, it takes a lot of time, right? If you're trying to create those very high quality image ads, there's a level of experience that's going to be required, right? Graphic design experience, or maybe hiring people to create them for you. It can be costly. And if you're utilizing UGC creators, that can be expensive as well. It can be pretty hard to just create high quality ads that will convert, and they're ads that are actually winning, right? Now, the second thing is internal systems. Once a client gets onboarded into a company, there's all sorts of different teams that kind of jump in and start working, right? Let's say a client gets onboarded. From there, the tech team comes in, the development team comes in, the media buyers, the VAs, et cetera, et cetera, the client success managers. There's all sorts of different people coming in and dealing with a client. And from what I've seen, especially at a higher level, I've been talking to people, $200,000 per month agencies, and they're utilizing these AI services and systems to get rid of that, to essentially replace some of their team members and streamline that entire process, where the AI agents almost become a part of the team and they're managing a big workload, right? And I'm going to get into all of this in just a second, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of an overview to start off with. And then it goes into service delivery. This is one of the biggest things I think that people are really dialing down on, because lead communication, lead conversion, it's one of the biggest bottlenecks in a local business space. These local business owners they're already so busy with the work that they have. Unless if they have the right sales team and infrastructure, which a majority of them just don't, you're dumping a bunch of leads into their CRM. And yes, you might already have automations that are working properly, and an element of AI that's going to help with conversion. But the biggest thing is they don't have the time to stay on their phone and within 5 minutes are calling a lead and then following up with them for the next 30 days. It's a very time consuming and difficult process. From what I've seen, especially people in my niche, a lot of them don't know what they're doing to start off with, and then throwing all of this work on top of everything that they already have to do on top of their current workload, it almost becomes an impossible situation where they're set up to lose. Right. So these are the three main things that I really want to solve. And once again, when people are talking about this model, I truly believe this is what they're generally touching on. So we can jump straight into this, right? Starting off with ads management. There's a lot of news and talk about ChatGPT and VO3 AI right now when it comes to ad creation. That's exactly what I've been utilizing for the past little bit, especially ChatGPT. I was utilizing a software called Fal.ai for image ad creation. That was also really good, but from what I've seen, ChatGPT works extremely well. One of the biggest things that, one of the biggest benefits that I've seen from this is that you can take a winning ad from a different niche, plug it into ChatGPT, say that, hey, I want this in my niche, plug in the offers, plug in the city, et cetera, and it's just going to create something similar for you, right? So there's no need for constant UGC or client-side content. One of the things that I always wait for is for my clients to send some videos so they can, personalize it and it actually represents their company compared to using just a bunch of stock footage. And that can really delay the process, right? Waiting for them to send videos and film videos, it can delay the launch process by a week or two. And that's just something that's not too scalable as you sign more and more people. So once again, utilizing AI is just extremely fast, consistent, and scalable. And I want to show you guys some of the ads that I've been utilizing, right? Of course, with every different niche, it's going to be different. In my niche, this is how I would create some different ads. This one in particular right here worked extremely well. That's not even a real person. It doesn't even look fake at all though, which is crazy, right? So a good call out to the city, a few different features, the offers, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's going to make a really good ad. So these are the type of ads that I've been running. And then with VO3 AI, the problem with that is, I think the videos can only be 5 to 8 seconds. However, hooks are one of the most important things that you can possibly get right. Right, it's the highest leverage if you really think about it. A majority of the $1 that you spend in advertising goes into the headline, right? So that's something you always want to have dialed. So if you can actually create a hook with the software, and then the rest of the video can be, utilizing different material, that's completely fine. I'll give you guys an example of what I've created here. I hope the audio actually got captured there, but it's essentially just an internal ad saying auto detailing shops will guarantee that your calendar is packed, or blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Talking about your guarantee, talking about the offer, 5 to 8 seconds, and you're good to go. So that's the type of video that you want to create depending on your niche. Obviously, you just want to adjust it based on every niche. I'm in the detailing niche, so I would adjust it with cars in the back and somebody that looks like they work in that space. I put my company on his t-shirt, things like that, which is crazy that you can even utilize. Coming back here, one of the biggest things I did want to touch on, because I know a lot of people are talking about image and video ad creation, it's a pretty talked about, topic. But the main thing I want to do with this is streamline it and make it as efficient as possible. Once a client's onboarded, I don't want to sit with ChatGPT and talk with it and speak to it, give it instructions for 2 hours just to get some ads. The way I want to do it is I want to have some sort of workflow, whether I'm utilizing N8N or some different softwares, and a client gets onboarded. I already have all of the templates and all of the ads set up within the folders and the workflows. And what happens is it has all the instructions and all of the output is just dumped into the client's folder. So I didn't even have to sit there and communicate with ChatGPT, get the ads right, et cetera, et cetera. Because of the offer, because of the templates that it already has, and it understands the city, it just dumps a bunch of ads into the folder already without me having to do anything. So that's where I want to take it. I want to take it past just the general use of these softwares. I want to create a full workflow. Once again, probably utilizing N8N, which I'm going to be documenting on this channel, because I have seen somebody do that. They built out an entire workflow where they just essentially automated that entire process of image ad creation, which I found so crazy. So that's my plan with this. I want to create that entire workflow. Once a client gets onboarded, we have all of their information. That software starts working and it just dumps a bunch of ads into the folder based on the city, based on the different features, based on the offer, and as well as the service, because every service can be quite different. So that's my plan for that. I'm going to be documenting that on this channel as well. Now, getting into company systems, this is something that I've been actually working on quite recently, especially when it comes to the onboarding process. Let's say a client gets onboarded. The way I used to do this before, client gets onboarded, we schedule the onboarding call to get access to their ad accounts. I send them an onboarding form, contract, payment, obviously not in this order, but contract and payment. That also needs to be done. And then from there, I'm creating all the Google uh, Drive folders and setting up everything, the ad management documents and the A2P verification stuff, and then creating their sub account, implementing the snapshot, and then getting started on their ads, pretty much everything. All of that type of stuff took extremely long. Just getting one client live took ages. So that's something I've been working on automating recently, utilizing make.com, ChatGPT, go high level, of course. I'll give you guys an example of what this looks like. So this isn't done. I'm still building this out. But essentially, once a client fills out the onboarding form, we get all of their information. All that data comes into make.com. From there, we're creating all the relevant Google Drive folders, right? All the Google Drive folders are being created. I have an A2P registration document, the onboarding document, a few more folders, the ads management document that's being created all by itself. And then one of the biggest things here is creating a Go High Level sub account by itself. So that's something I've just set up. After that, I want to implement the snapshot and then the custom values and calendars. To be completely honest, this is something I have no idea how to do. I might even have to hire a developer for this. If any of you guys know how to do it, let me know. But I figured out the Go High Level sub account creation process, but the actual snapshots and the custom values, the calendars, etc. That's stuff that I'm still figuring out. So I might have to hire a developer. But once again, if you guys know how to do this, let me know. I'd love to get some insight on it. Coming back here, um, once again, the other thing that I'm actually implementing as well that's not on here is custom GPT agents. So I want to build a custom GPT agent for different parts of the agency. So deep research, client copy creation, and landing page creation, right? So it essentially goes through this entire automation. We have access to all their data, and this GPT agent is already writing out all their ad copy and all of their landing page copy. Pretty much everything that you possibly need, it's doing. And then it's doing deep research on their company and their organization and their competitors. It's doing a competitor analysis. So when we actually hop on this onboarding call, we have access to all this information that we didn't even need to do anything about. And they immediately think, wow, this guy actually took the time to do this entire analysis and everything's pretty accurate. So that's the plan for that. I want to create a bunch of different agents that are managing different parts of the company and essentially replacing humans, right? Replacing the VAs that I would have to hire to essentially do all that work. So that's what I'm up to right now with this. That's a plan. So essentially, the system stays lean. No need for multiple teams per client, right? With this, I'd still have to just hire a tech guy, probably a tech VA, that type of thing, for them to do like the A2P and everything like that. But the rest of it can be pretty streamlined and automated. So that's the plan, right? The GPTs are handling ad copy, research, assets, etc., etc. So once again, the main idea is minimal staff is required. Now, service delivery is the last thing. This is something I like to touch on quite a bit on this channel, something I like to obsess over. Now, once again, one of the biggest things that I've seen, the biggest bottlenecks is lead communication. So calling the leads and messaging the leads. Now, the way it's going right now, it seems like these are two things that can be automated, right? We can remove all of those responsibilities from the client and just essentially utilize AI to manage the entire thing. Now, on this channel, I've talked about a software called CloseBot. You guys have probably heard of a Pointwise. I've utilized that software before, and I'm sure there's a lot of changes because it's been about 6, 7 months since I last used it. And at that time, I just thought it wasn't there, right? The AI was messaging the leads and it just wasn't working properly. People were getting mad. They were detecting the AI, and it was a bad look on me because the business owners are reading these conversations and they know that I set it up for them. So I came across a software called CloseBot. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I came across the software and it was extremely customizable. There was all sorts of different things that you could actually build into the software for it to actually communicate like a human. And that's the best part. I brought on the founder on this channel as well. You guys can check out this video where he essentially walked through the entire software, showed you guys how it works, how it can be used, some real life examples, and then also a new update called V2, which is actually live now. So this is something I would recommend if you guys are using it Pointwise and it's working well, then by all means go for it. I'm not telling you to switch over, but this is just something that's working for me, and this is something I'm building out. Once again, I'm going to be showing you guys my entire build on this channel very soon. So the biggest thing with CloseBot and a Pointwise is just streamlining that lead communication process. A lead comes in, we have an AI agent fully communicating with them and booking them in for appointments and phone consultations and maybe even in-person consultations. So it's extremely effective. Once again, you just need to build it out correctly so it doesn't sound robotic. That's the last thing you'd want to do. People aren't there yet where they like talking to AI. I wouldn't like talking to an AI chatbot. So just keep that in mind. Try building it out. Whatever software you're using, just try building it out so it sounds extremely human, as if it was just a person from the company that's working full time. So that's something I'm using. Once again, I'm going to be releasing video on that very soon. After that, the next thing is voice AI agents, which is crazy that I'm even talking about this because it was just a few months ago where I was having a conversation with this really big business owner, agency owner, and he's like, yeah, it's not there yet. It's going to take maybe a year. And we're here a few months later and it's already, well, it seems like it's working. To be completely honest, I haven't tested any of this out. Obviously, CloseBot I have, but the voice caller agents I haven't. I am a bit scared too, not gonna lie. I know there's vapi.ai and then I think there's synthflow as well. I don't know how to pronounce that one, but those are the two softwares that I've heard about so far. I haven't seen anybody utilize it. Like, I know a lot of people are talking about it, but I haven't seen any live examples of people saying, hey, this is my agency, this is the AI talking to the leads. And if it still sounds robotic, then it's still going to take some time. I wouldn't implement it if it actually sounds like it's AI. Now, if you guys go onto this website and click Talk to Vapi, of course it sounds very good, but that's, just on their website to obviously pull people in. I know that once you actually set it up, it becomes a bit different. So I'm going to test it out. It is a bit more expensive. I think it's about closer to 2,000 a month, something like that. But it is something I'm going to set up and build because realistically, if it can replace the call centers and human agents, which I do have currently, then it actually is worth the investment. But once again, it just depends on it sounding human and if it actually works. So that's something I'm going to be testing out and documenting on this channel. I really hope that it does, because if it is there already, then that's going to be amazing, right? But that's the plan. Transitioning the typical SMMA to an AI agency. I know the title of this video is probably a bit clickbaity. I'm not going to be shutting down my SMMA. Once again, my idea is that they're fairly similar models. It's just a few different things. AI implementation and utilizing different softwares for company systems and all the stuff that I talked about is really where the change is seen. However, the core foundations of the business model, they're entirely the same. So if you guys are in the space where you're getting discouraged, if you even have an SMMA and you're hearing all these people say SMMA is dead, start an AI agency or your business is gonna die, just understand they're fairly similar. Look at the core services, look at what they're offering. Don't just buy into the idea because somebody is selling the new shiny object, when in reality, a lot of the stuff, the landing pages, the ads, the systems, go high level, all of that is fairly the same. So once again, if you guys are in that position where you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, just keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure you guys are going to be doing great. So that's what I had for this video. I'm going to be releasing a lot more videos related to this AI topic and just showing you guys a live build of how I'm actually implementing it rather than just throwing out a bunch of different names. I actually want to show you guys that, hey, this is what I'm utilizing, right? If I'm talking about Vapi AI, then I'm going to be showing you guys, hey, this is what I'm implementing. And if it fails, it fails. But I'm going to be showing you guys that failure as well. That's my intention on the channel. If you guys go back and scroll through all my videos, the main thing that I always do, show you guys all my success, but also all my failures. And that's not going to change. So yeah, that's all I had. If you guys have any sort of questions, send me a message on Instagram. Feel free to have a chat with me. I love always engaging with you guys in any way that I can and helping you guys out in any way that I can. My Instagram is going to be linked right below, so feel free to go ahead and do that. But that's all I had for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.